Welcome back to the Kick and Post YouTube channel and podcast with your hosts, Jamal Thompson and Chris Perry. And welcome to the divisional round of the playoff prediction bid. How you doing today, Chris?
I'm tired, but we here though, so I'm good. Good matchups this weekend. What matchup are you looking forward to the most?
Me personally, I really want to see how Lamar Jackson performs in the playoffs.
The right answer.
Yeah, Lamar versus the Houston Texans in Baltimore. Um, I still have question marks about the offense. I cannot
Yeah,
lie. That defense, number one rated in practically everything, have no question marks there. And I think that defense will be enough for them to sneak past the Texans. But I got to see what the offense looking like because they're not playing for this week. I mean, obviously they are, but the Texans beating the Texans isn't their final goal with the team that they have set up currently. Their
yeah.
second best favorites to win the Super Bowl, and the way you do that is by having a decent enough offense to give your defense some rest. I need to see what they can do this week, moving the ball and such. How about you?
That's my game too. Probably for a different reason. I do love Lamar. I'm excited to see what CJ Stroud does.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because they're down a receiver again. I think Noah Brown got ruled out,
Oh my
if I'm not
gosh!
mistaken. So just him and Nico. But I've seen him and Nico do some things. So we'll see the
No.
final report when it comes out before the game. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to most because we know Lamar's MVP. He's playing at MVP level, but Stroud has stepped up in a lot of big defensive games. So why would this one be any different?
Yeah,
That's all
you're
I'm saying.
right. They've played pretty well. Um, the big, like you said though, the big question mark is how will he play? And he's played Baltimore already this year. No, I
I
think it was the
think
first
so.
game they
Like
played this
earlier,
year.
earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Moved the ball pretty well against the defense. Obviously, this defense has just gotten better as the year went on, but I feel like with just Nico Collins, I mean, let's not sleep on Dalton Schultz either. Um, and I know Robert Woods is out there. I mean, what's left of them. They
yeah,
they need to really, get off to a hot start because if Lamar is able to get a touchdown, even 10 points ahead, that defense is going to be flying. So, me personally, I got the Ravens winning. I'm still undecided about how
yeah.
many points they could put up, but I think the spread is what, 7?
I
If
haven't
I'm
checked anything. I've been so locked in, bro.
No,
Let
I
me
got you. I
check
got you. I
for.
think the spread is
Oh, you
close to
got it.
7, but I think the Ravens could possibly cover that, but it's not going to be a high scoring game. I
No,
see
it's
it
nine
being
and a half right now.
it's 9.5.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
that's
the only way I'm taking that is if I tease that down to 6.5. Um,
yeah.
Again, I have question marks about the offense. I could see it being a 17 to 9 game, to be honest with you. So
Okay.
that's my take on
Um,
that one. Seems like you're rolling with the Ravens as well.
yeah, you can't not go with the favorite. They were my favorite going into the playoffs. I thought they were the hottest at the time. My only concern is that bye week.
Yep.
It could be it could be a cancer at times. Depends on how that locker room is looking, depending on how far they're looking into the playoffs. They got to look at this week and play this week because they are playing one of the hottest teams right now.
Mhm.
Texans got a lot of momentum, and I'm just saying, just be on the lookout, man. A lot of fireworks could be that game. You got 17-9. I think it's going to be like a really high scoring game. Because I do think Lamar and them put points on the board, but like I said, Texans are rolling right now. So I hope that trend keeps going.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Talking about teams rolling though, got Green Bay playing the Niners
Sheesh.
in San Francisco. Um,
Yeah.
those boys were rolling last week. They hope to continue the same thing again against a very high-rated defense and another
Yeah.
offense where we've seen them put up points, but Brock Purdy also has question marks tied to his name for you know certain performances he's had this year. Um, Me personally, Jordan Love's been impressive. I don't know how you felt about him, but he's looked great, especially at the back end of this year. Um,
Yeah.
where the Niners struggle, in
Uh,
my opinion, is that secondary a little bit. I know they lost. What's his name? I think it's like Moafanga or something like that, or Hufanga.
oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know his name, but that sounds right.
yeah. They're down him, which is a big hit to the secondary. But Fred
Okay.
Warner's still out there. Of course, their defensive end core still out there. Chase on one side, Bosa on the other. Um, We'll see if they can get pressure on Jordan Love, but if he's able, allotted enough time in the pocket and he's able to make his reads and stuff, this could be a lot closer of a game than you think. How do you feel about this
one? Same situation, different conference. Like, the bye week could be deadly when you're playing a hot team. Like, they're rolling, they're scoring, and if you are a possession or two too late, that could be the game. So, keep that in mind. Of course, I expect the 49ers to win, but at least the first half should be interesting. Should be. After that,
at least the first half. Sheesh. So you expect it to end up being like a runaway.
Yeah, because I didn't expect the Packers to get this far. They caught the Cowboys on the best week possible, aka the playoffs. So, my bad, random stray. But they've been scoring. I wasn't with them because this last month hasn't really played anybody in terms of competition. So I thought at least with like the Cowboys, at least give them like a run for their money. But that Cowboy D is still good, and they did give them the work. Like, that's a fact. They dropped 40 on them, 42.
Yeah, 48.
Yeah, like that amount of points on any team in the league, that's a statement. That means you can score. That means you know what you're doing. So we've seen the 49ers get exposed. It's happened before. Who say it can't happen again after a bye week when you're playing another hot team? So
I'm not going to pick the Packers to win it, though. If I was putting my bread on this game, which I might be, I would take the Niners to score about 35 points and Green Bay to come up just short of 21.
21, high scoring. Okay, so you definitely got the over. That's at 15.5 right now.
Yeah, I got the over in this one.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, I see the 49ers scoring a lot of points. I don't see why the Packers would slow down. Even slowing down, that's at minimum 14 points. Give them 2 field goals on top of that. I like your prediction, so I'll write it.
Okay. 35-20.
No.
So that would set up, of course, the 2 number 1 seeds to move forward, and then we need to fill the other spots in both the AFC Championship game, the NFC Championship game. Let's start on the NFC side. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going into Detroit. Detroit, fresh off their first win in the playoffs in 30 years. Cowboys, which they could relate. Random straight, sorry. Oh, Lord. Detroit.
I'm sorry, Trey. Trey, if you're watching this.
Yeah, they have had playoff wins. I'm just, talking smack. Anyway, they go into Detroit, Tampa Bay Bucks do, with a rejuvenated Baker Mayfield, some would say. An offense that looks up and down, but performed well enough to beat an Eagles team. And then the Detroit team, who I won't say shut down the Rams offense, but played really good red zone defense against that Rams team led by Matt Stafford. Unfortunately for the Tampa Bay Bucks, I do not see this being a very pretty game for them. The secondary has good pieces, but does not play well as a unit. The linebacking core has been, solid. They're a good run-stopping team, but I don't think they've come across anything like the way they utilize Gibbs now for Detroit. These 2 teams have played each other earlier in the year. Detroit won 20-6, and this was before they really started even utilizing Gibbs. I feel like it will be a way different version of the game that they played earlier this year, and I have Detroit also putting up a pretty hefty total, about 35 points as well, to the Bucks 7.
It's a great analysis, and I don't have much more to add. I will give the Bucks their win last week. They beat the Eagles. The Eagles have been shaky all year.
Yeah.
Still a solid team in the league. You did what you had to do. Baker showed out, but the week prior, you put 9 points on the Panthers. Inexcusable. Like, I don't think you can score at will if you need to. And in this game, the Lions are scoring. That's a guarantee. But are you going to be able to match that energy and momentum? I doubt it. So, yeah, I got the Lions big. The spread is the lowest so far out of the games we've went over. Theirs is only 6.5. That's crazy.
I'd confidently take that.
I'm taking Detroit 10 minus 9.5. Like, that's.
I might up it
the
as
Bucks.
well, but
the Bucks can't score.
I might be being a little bit mean though, because I mean.
No, not at all. Don't overthink it.
7 points. The Detroit defense isn't anything like a world-stopping type of team. They have given up points in the past. gave up 23 to a team that couldn't really score in the red zone last week. I think all their touchdowns came from outside the red zone last week. So, I don't know. But confident in them at least winning by a touchdown. So, give me Detroit to win in Detroit.
Yeah.
To close out that NFC Championship matchup going forward. And then the last matchup we'll discuss today, the last AFC matchup, only right to be honest. Patrick Mahomes' first away game in the AFC against a familiar foe, the Buffalo Bills, out there in Buffalo, out there in the temperature, out there in the cold. Huge game lining up. Kansas City coming off a pretty impressive win against Miami. Let's all be real though. Miami in the cold wasn't good news to begin with. And even though I say impressive win, they still had a lot of things they could clean up as the Chiefs. And then the Bills coming off of what I would consider, again, they took care of business, but it wasn't overly impressive. Still had things they could fix. Had a Steelers team that was starting Mason Rudolph hanging around a little bit too long. But I think these teams bring out the best in each other. So
they do.
It'll be very interesting to see how Patrick Mahomes plays away from home in the playoffs. There was a statistic showing that this man at home, I think, has thrown 21 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in the playoffs since he started his career. Crazy stats. This is our first opportunity to see this man away from home in the elements, of course. And me personally, I think the Bills finally shake it up and get a chance to make their way to the AFC Championship game against a team not named the Kansas City Chiefs. I think this is Josh Allen's moment. He will have a very, very big game. The pressure that the Chiefs can provide on that line. Chris Jones is going to force Josh Allen to utilize his legs. One of my favorite props to take. Josh Allen over 50 rushing yards against this team. I feel like that is a lot.
Last week.
I mean, he did that last week in one play, but, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like
you're consistent.
Yeah, I feel like he'll have to use his legs again. I don't trust anybody in Kansas City to catch the ball. That has not changed. Not even Travis Kelce, to be honest. Like, he will catch, but
it did change. It got worse.
It's a 50% hit rate right now. But I feel like with the elements, with it finally being in Buffalo, with Bills Mafia, I think Josh Allen will be able to really solidify some things and make his way to an AFC Championship game against the Baltimore Ravens. How do you feel about that analysis, Chris? What is your take on this matchup?
I like it and I agree, but I have a theory.
Okay.
And I thought about it at work the other day.
Yeah.
And what if, just what if, the Chiefs get the edge this game because the NFL wants a Travis Kelce Super Bowl?
So here's the thing. I can understand the angle of the Travis Kelce Super Bowl because the Taylor Swifties tuning in. And I'd be more likely to sign on if like Taylor Swift was doing the halftime show.
But she's definitely going to be at the game. And if she's at the game, that will be the most watched Super Bowl on record.
Yeah, but I mean, they don't need Taylor Swift for the Super Bowl.
No. But from her pull during the regular season and that being such a big moment, I do think the NFL could use like the numbers because like it will be like a record-setting number of a ridiculous amount of people.
The only
not to say that's going to be the case.
As well is because of Kelsey's really cool pass that got called back because of that offside from Kadarius Toney. It did happen against the Bills. They might have some retribution storyline in there where he balls out.
All I'm saying is I've seen some questionable calls help the Chiefs get far in moments like this.
Yeah.
The downside is that they're not home, so a little bit harder. But
yep.
It's the league, so I'm saying be on the lookout. They just have a trend to get very good timed calls. So that's all.
My advice on this is stay away from it.
Josh Allen anytime touchdown. This is not financial advice.
Well, I like that. And of course, I like Josh Allen over 50 rushing yards. But in terms of like money line, spreads, any of that stuff,
no.
I'm staying away from all of that. I just want to watch a good game, to be honest with you.
Sweat free?
Yeah, sweat free, man. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, if I put in some fun stuff like some props, I'm cool with that. But I will not be putting like any significant amount of money on either team. Gabe Davis didn't play last week. I don't know what he has going on. I don't know if he's out for the season, but it was very odd to see them on offense without him. Stephon Diggs still hasn't shaken. I mean, he got a lot of passes, but the yardage isn't lining up. Khalil Shakir showed out a little bit on a play or two last week. Dalton Kincaid is, showing why they drafted him a bit. Not heavy usage last week, but a few huge catches out there. And both teams are kind of dealing with the same things, questionable pass catchers. So, with a safety blanket and a tight end. But one has Diggs. So, we know what his talent level is and what he can bring it back at any moment. But it'd be interesting to see which Diggs shows up for this matchup. But I'll confidently, if I have to make my pick right now, I'll go ahead and hit it with the Buffalo 20 to Kansas City 17. Buffalo to go on to play the Ravens.
Yeah, you know how it is. It's going to be a shootout. It's going to be close. I think it's going to be fireworks. So we're going to go 2-point conversion for the Bills win towards the end, 29-28.
2-point conversion. Okay. I do like. And we did this last time when we did the midseason review, so I have to ask you again. Leaving this conversation, what is the team you expect to win the Super Bowl?
The Ravens. They've just, as of recent, looked the most dominant out of the pool of teams that are left. So their peak has been higher than any other team's peak that's remaining. Got to ride with them. That's simple.
I think that defense is playing on another level, and it's not like they're carrying a Matt Hasselbeck, Trent Dilfer level quarterback. Lamar is still a game changer. And I feel like there will be, enough plays made on his end to really give this defense a chance to, let things loose and really get after some people. And if those things happen, it's going to be tough to stop this team in general, man. So I'm excited for some good football this weekend. Hopefully you guys are as well. We'll be back after these games to kind of discuss what we saw. Hopefully make our predictions for the NFC and AFC championship games. And then from there, the Super Bowl. Any closing thoughts, Chris?
I need to get some sleep. So that's my closing thought.
That's your closing thought?
I'll catch y'all, boys.
We'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.